We will have a foreign affairs minister on the show as soon as the House of Commons voting wraps up. But to set the scene, let's bring in Todd Tucker from the Roosevelt Institute. He joins us from Washington. Welcome to the show, Todd. I guess I'm wondering, asking you if the bluster of Trump is worth believing or if this will pass quickly in a mood change at the president's office.
Yeah, this is what has become sort of a daily fire drill with Trump, where you don't know if it means anything, if it means anything at all, if anything will become of it. When the different sort of agencies responsible for trade were asked about it, they said, ask the White House, ask Trump. We have no idea if this is a policy shift or not. So it's really unclear still at this stage what, if anything, has changed and how this relates to the negotiations at hand.
I guess the problem, though, Todd, here is that there's no consistency to it. He's nice one day, he's nasty the next day. I mean, I don't know how you negotiate on that basis. Do we just give up and wait for him to finally make a ruling on this, or do we continue to plug away and hope for the best?
Well, I think running out the clock is a strategy that might make sense in this context. The main kind of congressional deadline to give Congress a minimum of a few weeks to debate the NAFTA 2.0 passed last week. If you push it a little bit, it can maybe happen this week or next. It's not clear that the negotiations are anywhere near that finalized. And indeed, on sort of the one area where they've spent most of the time talking on autos, it's unclear that they even have a deal that the automakers or the auto workers could end up supporting. And if those two constituencies can't support something, it's unclear how it gets through a really divided Congress.
Yeah, and I don't want to read too much into Trump tweets, but he was tweeting today that good news is on the horizon for the auto sector. I'm not sure if he's talking about NAFTA, if he's talking about China. What's he talking about? Do you have any idea?
You know, people interpreted earlier today that the close timing between the comments about Canada and the tweet about autos meant that there was a NAFTA auto deal happening. It's not clear that that's all what the president meant. In fact, just a few moments ago, the Wall Street Journal reported that Trump is considering levying 25% tariffs on autos from all countries, not just Canada, using sort of a similar national security rationale as he used for the steel and aluminum tariffs last year. Now, that's probably not going to go anywhere. A lot of the same way that the steel tariffs didn't really go anywhere. You know, there was a lot of noise, and then there was a lot of exemptions for countries. And then, you know, culminating last week and sort of rolling over completely for China, which was ostensibly the target of the steel tariffs. So I think this is another idea that's getting workshopped in the White House that, again, doesn't have much of a political constituency, and it's unclear if it'll actually go forward.
You know, I was reading about Trade Secretary Mnuchin yesterday was saying, oh, you know, we might go with one of these skinny deals, which means just the auto sector agreement sort of segregated and passed independently of the rest of the NAFTA talks. Is that a realistic political scenario in your view?
Well, you know, under NAFTA 1.0, the rule is that 62.5% of the parts in an auto need to be made in a NAFTA country in order to get NAFTA benefits. What the Trump administration has been proposing over the last many months is raising that threshold to 75%, and then additionally requiring that 40 to 45% of autos be made at factories that are paying $15 an hour or higher. Now, the Mexicans aren't going to accept that last bit because a lot of their factories pay substantially below that. And the auto companies themselves have said that this could raise the price of cars in the U.S. By $2,200, which is a big hit on the final consumer. And that might be a price worth paying if this tariff idea or these rules of origin ideas were coupled with a lot of other domestic policies to revitalize industry. But that's not what's happening. I mean, they've cut taxes, they've cut the ability of the government to have a robust industrial policy on the one hand, while on the other hand, sort of blaming other countries for trade problems on the other.
Oh, Todd, my head's spinning on this one. All right, we'll keep track of this. We appreciate your interpretation. Always useful. Thank you.